I hope I'm in that. Anyway, this is Saturday story time, and I thought I'd pick this spot just because I hope the camera is picking it up. But this is my feverfew, and I think it's quite beautiful this time of year. And the chickens evidently don't eat it. Probably they never have headaches. They just say, "Oh dear, I feel an egg coming on," and they go lay down. I don't know. But anyway, Saturday story time, and today I am picking up where I left off, except I want to sort of back up a little bit about the grieving process. I'm a year into it. Lots of people think, oh, you should be over it by now. But that isn't the case. And for some of us, it takes a long, long time. Others, not so long, perhaps. But it's a process. So if you're in this process, don't expect to bounce back right away. But you will. You will. You'll come through. It's coming through the valley of the shadow of death, and you'll make it. To have a shadow, there has to be light. So you'll come through into the light. You really will. But I want to tell you a few things. Tom is in this with me. It's just not me going through the grieving period. And I was thinking about this. We did it in different ways. And having my life full of people, I think, was good, and being busy with things, except Tom had to make boxes. That was how he made our living then. So his life was not so full of people, and I got to thinking, it's like two drowning people in water, each trying to save themselves. And when I look back, if I hadn't been so busy, I could have helped Tom through this better. But I was drowning too. And I think that's a little bit of what pulls marriages apart during this time. But we didn't pull apart. We chose not to. And I'm so glad. And another thing I want to tell you, and you've probably experienced this if you've gone through this time, where you're going to see the person who you lost. And for me, it was just not too long after the funeral. I was looking down on the street, and a young man was coming towards us, and he looked just like our son. And I said, "Honey, Matt is coming. He's coming." And Tom had to hold me, keep telling me that wasn't reality. And I really knew it wasn't. I mean, we'd had the funeral. I'd sat with our son for an hour in the funeral home and had my last conversation one-sided with him. So I knew it wasn't true, but it really, really got to me. And then I don't know, maybe a month later, I was in the grocery store. I had my cart filled, and there was a young man in front of me, and he turned around, and it was the look-alike to our son. And I had to leave the store. I pushed my basket off to the side, left the store. I came back later, got my groceries, but I had to go. It was just too much. And fortunately, not too many times after that did I ever see that young man. And maybe by then it wasn't so much of a problem, I don't know. But I don't remember any time after that. But anyway, I'm a year into the process. I have decided to quit the grocery store, and yet I haven't really, I still need things to fill my time, I suppose. And the 4th of July was coming up. It was a big thing in where we live. And I decided that I would sell ice cream cones that day. So I ordered, and it's the big tubs that you see of ice cream where you go and order an ice cream cone and they dip out of a big tub. Well, I ordered strawberry chocolate and vanilla and lots of cones. And Tom made the remark, well, we'll have lots of ice cream to enjoy after this. Well, by the afternoon of the 4th of July, Tom was going to the grocery store and buying any kind of ice cream he could find. And we actually pretty much bought him out. And so it was a really good day. People liked it. This was the building that had the first soda fountain in it in the drugstore. And I think pretty much almost to the 50s, but all the way through the 40s, people could go there and get their ice cream cones. Some people still live there that could remember that. Some people could remember as a small child going, or they could remember their mom and dad talk about it. And so it was a dear spot, and so it really resonated with them. Well, I thought I was doing it for the 4th of July, but on the 5th of July, people are lined up at the door asking for ice cream cones. So I made ice cream cones, and then I decided, well, I better have it open. And then the town had a movie theater that was open Fridays and Saturdays. You could go to the movies. So what I did, I stayed open. So after the movie, if anyone wanted to come in and have an ice cream cone beforehand, they did. And you know, it was the place. Ice cream cones sold every day. And then I noticed there was a couple of loggers that came in every day, had their ice cream cone. And sometimes I even played checkers with them. But they were there. And each time they came, they gave me a little tip, a little how to make it a little bit better, how to tweak it. And so I listened to them, and then one day, one of the loggers said, do you know who this is, his partner that he came in with? Well, I knew his name, and he said, well, let me tell you, he was the ice cream cone king in McCall, Idaho, which is the place for tourists. It's where they have the ice capades. I don't know, where they make the ice sculptures in February. They have the beautiful lake. It's just a beautiful area, and tourists, it's a tourist trap. And you are glad you're trapped. But it's that kind of a place. And they said at one time he would make enough money in the summertime that he went to like Denmark and Switzerland and Norway in the off season. And then finally, I don't know what changed, but he was a logger. But he knew how to do things, and so I made improvements. I just did, and I had lots of people coming in. Oh, I was going to bring out a menu, but that's okay. Next week, I think I'll tell you about that. But you don't sell ice cream all year. So I had to start thinking, what am I going to do in the fall? What am I going to do then? And I decided on sandwiches. And I think with that, we're going to stop there. I'm going to tell you a little more. I'm going to show you my menu. And anyway, I will say this. It was really something when I started making those sandwiches. I still had the ice cream that you could have, but people would line up clear down the block, and I could only serve so many at a time. And I don't know why, but I felt like I'd made it when people called in their orders in the morning and said, I want want this, I'd bag it up for them. It would be ready when they came. And the other thing, when people got tired of waiting in the line and left. I don't know why that got to me, but I knew that this was a really popular place. And it really went over. So I'm going to leave you with that. And besides that, it was just fun. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. And I'll visit with you next Saturday. We'll continue on our story. And if you have a headache, drink some feverfew tea or make a tincture. It's pretty bitter. Well, there you have it.